in 40 days of studying that we're going to embark on to become PMPs. The PMP exam is a lot of stuff, but in this course, I have put it all together to help your studying and to help you make sense out of the huge amount of content. There's so many books. For example, one of the books that you hear a lot, you hear people talking about this one. Now, it's not in publication anymore, it's not in print anymore, the PMBOK Guide 6th edition, but you hear people talking about that book all the time. There are a number of other books that you hear people talking about, like the Agile Practice Guide and PMBOK 7. Don't worry, I've taken all that stuff and I've put it together in this program for you. In addition to all the information that I have woven together in the videos that you will watch, there's also a book that can help you if you need additional information. And that book is called PMP Exam Immersion. You could go to immersion.hpmexam.com and you will be able to get this book that wraps all the 40 days into one pretty bow. But before we embark on the days, I wanted to give you a special tour of all the 35 tasks that we're going to be covering over the next 40 days. I think that will be a good way to proceed. So let's jump straight into it. This will be quick, so please don't go anywhere. We are going to take a look at the entire syllabus for the PMP exam. Let's jump in to this content. So the PMP exam, like I said, is a humongous beast. And I have all sorts of vehicles and little tricks and ideas that can help you. But if you ever felt stuck and you needed live help in a program, you can find it at hpmexam.com. Here's some information about me. I've been in the world of the PMP exam for going to 20 years now. I've been in project management for longer. And all throughout this program, I'll be bringing to you information that will liberate you as you study. My firm is called Praizion. We've been instrumental in training various organizations and entities, a few on the screen here. You'll also every now and again see my buddy Roy, who is my Agile coach. We built the Agile pieces of some of these videos together. The PMP exam has the following educational and professional requirements. Either you have a secondary school diploma and 5 years of project management experience and 35 hours of project management education, or if you have a degree, then you need 36 months of project management experience and 35 hours of project management education. Now, this course does not qualify for that. This is really to help you in studying, but you need to be in a controlled, monitored project management course, right, that PMI recognizes. For that, we have other options like the course we offer at hpmexam.com will qualify for that. So just be aware that this is really more for your studying. It's more like a study program. If you wanted to take our course, then go to hpmexam.com because that will get you the 35 hours that is needed. So in addition to everything you're seeing here, for all these categories, they all need the 35 hours of project management education. Okay. The PMP exam is broken into 3: people, process, and business. And all throughout this program that you're going to be on with me, this study program, the 40 Days to PMP Exam Success, we'll be breaking each one down. The exam is also broken into Agile and Hybrid. You could break it down in a variety of ways. And this is another way that you can break it down. Okay. So for the next 40 days, we are going to be covering the people domain, the process domain, and the business domain. People, process, and lastly, business. The business domain is the smallest of them all at just 4 tasks. Okay, so let me give you a sneak preview. Is that okay? Can I give you a sneak preview of what's coming? Okay, I'm going to show you in order of occurrence in the real world the 35 things we are going in on. Are you ready? Okay. So let me show you a couple of ways. Let me show you the entire syllabus as the PMI breaks it down in the PMP exam content outline. And let me also break it down by logic. Okay. This will be very helpful so that you understand the journey that we're going to be on together. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Let's jump into people. The people domain. And I'm going to paraphrase, and you can watch the recording again and pause it to really understand the intricacies and read all the bullets. Okay. In the people domain, you as a project manager, you need to be able to manage conflict, facilitate conflict management. You need to be able to lead a team, and you need to understand aspects of team leadership, such as servant leadership, the Hersey-Blanchard model, and the 5 stages of team development, Tuckman's ladder. You need to be able to support team performance, empower team members and stakeholders, ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained, of course, to be able to work on the project successfully. You should understand the dynamics of building a team using some of the techniques I showed you just now. You should also be able to address and remove impediments, obstacles, and blockers for the team. You need to be able to negotiate project agreements. There are various aspects on the project that should be negotiated. You also need to be able to collaborate with stakeholders. Those are the individuals who could be affected by the project. You need to be able to build a shared understanding. You, as a champion, you should be able to engage and support virtual teams. Now, I know champion is a word that they use specifically in some companies, but just think about it. You, as a project manager, this needs to be your mindset, the mindset of a champion, the mindset of someone who understands the vision and empowers others, right? You need to be able to engage and support virtual teams. You need to work with your team on defining ground rules. You need to be able to mentor relevant stakeholders. You need to be able to promote team performance through the application of emotional intelligence. And those are the 14 things in the people domain. Now, if we were going to look at it in the order that it might happen in reality, we won't manage conflict first. Instead, we could build a team, define the ground rules, lead the team, build a shared understanding, ensure training, mentor, empower. Then we can begin talking about conflict management, then engaging and supporting virtual teams, collaboration, removing impediments, supporting team performance, promoting team performance through the application of EI, and negotiating project agreements. So these are just ideas of how the logic might be in the real world. So for day 1 to 14, we are going to be covering the 14 tasks in the people domain, but we're going to be doing them in the order that I first covered them when I showed you these slides. Okay? All right, let's move on. Secondly, the process domain. The process domain has got 17 things. Number 1, execute the project with urgency required to deliver business value. We can't stand around. We need value ASAP. Now, this is the mindset you can approach this from. That is not to say we do shoddy work, though. Number two, manage communications. Number three, assess and manage risk. Deal with uncertainty that can impact your project. Number four, engage stakeholders. Number five, plan and manage budget and resources. Number six, plan and manage schedule. Number seven, plan and manage quality of products or deliverables. Number eight, plan and manage scope. Number nine, integrate project planning activities. In other words, combine and unify the plans. Number 10, manage project changes. Number 11, plan and manage procurement. Number 12, manage project artifacts. Number 13, determine appropriate project methodology, methods, and practices. Number 14, establish project governance structure. Number 15, manage project issues. Number 16, ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity. And number 17, plan and manage project or phase closure or transitions. Okay, I hope all this lingo is making sense to you, because I really want you to get the full topography of this thing. Let's take a look at how this might flow in a more realistic process. You could start off with determining the appropriate project methodology first. Then you move into establishing governance, integrating all the plans. But of course, you would do the plans of planning and managing project or phase closure, planning and managing scope, schedule, budget, resources, products or deliverables, risk, procurement. And then we get to number one, which is executing. So you can see we did all this plan stuff. Then we hit executing. So that's the general mindedness I want you to approach this from. Always asking, where are we? Oh, we couldn't be here if we've not done this, right? Ensure knowledge transfer, manage project issues, manage project changes, manage project artifacts, manage communications, and engage stakeholders. I hope you're finding this to be insightful, because the idea is not just to show you a bunch of slides, but to really expose you to what the next 40 days are going to be. The next 40 days, we're going to take all these apart. We're going to break them apart. And every day, I'm going to have for you each of the tasks broken out into the enablers, and then I'll have homework for you. And then I'll also have questions that I ask you. So the idea is that you use this as a study tool. If you don't have a good book for your PMP study, you want to look for PMP Exam Immersion. It's everywhere books are sold, but you can get a PDF copy by going to immersion.hpmexam.com, and you can begin studying right away. It also, the PDF, comes with a workbook. So if you were to get the electronic copy, you could also get a workbook. The workbook comes with it, you see. So there's quite a lot of great additions that we put into this book to help those who do not have a study guide, or maybe you're reading this pen book and this pen book and this agile guide, and it's driving you nuts. This is everything in one place. Okay, we break down the material into the 35 tasks, and then we also have a section dedicated to agile, because you do know agile is 50% along with hybrid, right, of the exam. So just be aware of that. The hard copy of the book, we don't have the workbook going along with that, because that's out of our control. That's on Amazon. But if you're to get the PDF, you'll be able to get the workbook, and the workbook has daily quizzes, true or falses, and other things to keep you on your toes daily. Because you know, the thing about the PMP exam, it's not just studying one day of a week. No, you have to make it a daily affair. So the hope is you can dedicate 2 hours or 3, better still, to studying. My videos on this course are only about 20 to 30 minutes mostly. There might be one or two that's up to an hour, but for the most part, they're less than an hour. If you're doing about 2 to 3 hours a day, you should be able to keep up with this curriculum. Okay? All right. Let's go back to our slide deck and let's take a look at the business domain, because now we're done with people and process. All right, beg your pardon, business domain. So the business domain has got 4 tasks. Number 1, plan and manage project compliance. So you got to be in compliance, you got to obey laws and regulations and things. Number 2, evaluate and deliver project benefits and value. Value is looked at as the net benefit. So this is just telling you to understand what benefits are we going to gain from the project and ensuring that you gain those benefits. Number 3, evaluate and address the external business environment changes for impact on scope. And this just means look at what's happening in the environment and pivot accordingly, change accordingly. And last but not least, 3.4, support organizational change. If the organization is going through change, be supportive of it and always ask the question, is there something that I could do? Okay. All throughout this course, I'll expose you to different ideas. I have 36 mantras, and I'll just flash them on the screen so that you are aware of them. I have 36 mantras, which helps you with the mindset for the PMP exam. I will be sharing these at some point in the course, but this is the mindedness that I want you to apply to people, process, and business. There is quite a lot of information here, upwards of 40 to 50 hours. But the good news is if you are studying daily, this goes quick. The other piece of good news is if you need training, coaching, and mentoring to help you as you journey, because maybe you cannot do it alone or you wish to have a tour guide, someone who has been there, done that, well, you need to look into my half-day boot camp at hpmexam.com to augment your studying. Okay? Again, it's hpmexam.com. Well, thank you very much for joining me in this first episode. This is the new introduction to 40 Days to PMP Exam Success. If you have any questions, comments, queries, please put them in the chat, put them in the comment field, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I really do need you to understand the exam is 180 questions. 2 hours, I beg your pardon, 3 hours. I was people shivering there. 2 hours? No, 180 questions in 3 hours and 50 minutes. That's 230 minutes. Okay, that's what you've got. The exam is broken out into 3 parts. The questions are just random in all the parts. So you have part 1, then you can take a 10-minute break or so. Then you have part 2, then you can take a 10-minute break. And then part 3. I often tell people use your breaks. Plan to use your breaks. I also want to make it very clear the way the exam generally is. There could be some drag and drops. Some people might have 1 or 2. Some people may not have any. But beyond the drag and drops, I want you to understand the way the questions are generally posed. And this is going to be the final thing I will show you today. The questions are going to be in the form, mostly in the form of what should the project manager do next? See that? What should the project manager do next? Or what should the project manager have done differently to prevent this from happening? And when I say this from happening, that could be anything, whatever happened, because the scenarios will always paint a picture and say, what should a project manager do? What is the next best thing to do? Let's take a look at this real quick. All right. think I froze for a second there. All right, let's go. All right, so on the screen, you are in the process of creating documentation of existing individual project risks and sources of overall project risk. You're also bringing together information so the project team can respond appropriately to identified risk. What is the next best thing to do? Questions like that, okay? There could be some technical questions, but they're not a whole lot. Majority of the questions that I would expect are the what should the PM do next kind of questions. You could have some questions that kind of probe you on tools to use or things to do. But in general, I would say 90% of your questions are going to be what should the project manager do next? Let me show you another one. Like these, you don't get a whole lot of these. They're usually not this long. They're actually just about 2 lines long. But you could also get questions that are long and wordy. I've heard that from students. So you can see this always ends in what should the project manager do first? What should the project manager have done? And things like that. Okay, let's see if I can find another question. Okay, here's another question type. And it's okay if the answer shows, just to give you an idea. Here we go. During a project's development stage, a functional manager is transferred to another department. It's no longer involved in the project. What should the project manager do first? So things like this, you got to be ready to face the what should the PM do next? What should the PM do first? What should the PM have done? Okay. All right. If you have any questions, do let me know. If you are feeling stuck and you need help and support in a live class environment, you can always sign up for training at hpmexam.com with a whole lot of hand holding. You get over 40 hours of content online. You get a lot of help. And even after you pass the exam, you get mentoring and coaching with me on how to be a real success at hpmexam.com. Okay, so those are the options available. I wish you all the very best on this program. 35 tasks, 40 days. Let's get moving. I'll see you later.